In this lesson, we'll learn how to create our very own custom attributes. Maya allows us to create custom channels in order to control things more conveniently. Here's an example. Later we'll go in and automate our turbine fans to spin. And then we'll use a custom attribute to regulate the fan speed. We'll also use custom attributes to drive the rotation of our gun underneath and for our turbine thrust blades. So let's say we go ahead and get started. We'd first need to figure out where these custom attributes should live. That's typically going to be on your main animation control. So with CC Ship selected, we can now head over to the Modify menu and choose Add Attribute. Now typically I like to start with a displayable attribute that acts as a separator to organize the channel box a little bit more. So let's go ahead and call this first displayable attribute Turbine Controls. So now when we choose Add, notice the attribute has been added to our channel box. So next we'll need to create animatable attributes. The first one will be Turbine Speed. We'll give it a minimum value of 0 and a max value of 5. Let's go ahead and now choose Add. Notice again it's been added to our channel list. Alright, so the last turbine control we'll add will be for the thrusters in the back. So let's go ahead and name this Turbine Thrust. And I'll go ahead and give this a minimum value of 0 and a max of 10. Okay, great. So the final few attributes we'll need to create will be for our gun to rotate. So let's go ahead and start with a displayable attribute first. We'll name it Gun Controls. Alright. Now the next attribute to follow, that will be for the pitch axis, which is the rotate X. So let's go ahead and simply name this Pitch. And here, I'm actually going to not add any limit to this. I'll go ahead and show you how we can do that after the fact, how we can edit our attributes. So I'll go ahead and just choose Add, and I'll do the same thing for the yaw axis, which is our Y axis. So let's go ahead and add that as an attribute. Okay, great. So we're good to go. We can go ahead and test these out. Great. So our first few animatable attributes, they go to their limits, and the others, they have no limit at all. But what if we wanted to change that? Because in the pitch axis, let's go ahead and take a look. We'll go ahead and grab one of the pieces of the gun. We'll hit the up arrow to move up in hierarchy so we can grab our ship gun group. Now if we were to choose the X axis and start to rotate, notice there is a stopping point here. We wouldn't want to go too far past that. Same thing goes for the other direction. If we start to rotate this down, you can see again we eventually run into a point where the gun would start to intersect. So we'll want a limit on our pitch axis. So in order to do that, it's just a matter of selecting the custom channel and heading over to the edit menu in the channel box. From there, we'd want to choose Edit Attribute. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab the pitch channel. Notice we can rename it from here, and then we can also give it a min and max value. So let's go ahead and give this a minimum of 0 and a max of 10. Simple as that. So now when we close this out, there we go. Our channel works properly. If you would like to remove channels, it's just a matter of selecting the channel to remove and choosing Delete Attributes. However, if you do that, let's say if you were to delete your thrust turbine attribute, Well, then when you add it back again, it's going to be added to the end of the list. So that's just something you'd want to be very careful about. I'll go ahead and undo to bring back our yaw axis. But again, in this lesson, we've learned how to create custom channels, and we've also learned how to modify them. So in the following lesson, we'll learn how to work with the connection editor to drive attributes.